can ever find what I'm looking for. So I went to Africa. I had been planning like a trip of a lifetime with a friend of mine that we had sort of worked on for years, which was to go to Africa and do Kilimanjaro, and then on the back end of Kilimanjaro, do 2014. So do a Serengeti in the safari. It's Kilimanjaro's in Tanzania. You know, it's all of the Serengeti, and that extends right up into Kenya. Beautiful trip, wonderful trip of a lifetime, but came back with malaria. Probably should have taken the pills. Didn't. My doctor said I didn't have to, but it's on me. I blame myself more than anything, because I'd been traveling for years and years, and I never had problems anywhere, and just sort of, you know, I've been doing it for decades for work, and it's like, he's like, you'll be fine, you don't worry about it. And I didn't do the research. For half a second I would have looked at it, and I would have figured it out, and I probably wouldn't have put myself in that situation, but I kind of just trusted him. And I rolled with it, and, you know, 3 or 4 weeks after I got back, I started getting really ill, and I immediately suspected malaria. It's all the symptoms, right? Bad flu, just gets worse, headache, fever, you know, just keep going downhill. And couldn't get same doctor then messed me around hard on the back end, like not getting. They took blood, took days and days before they could even get it tested to get a result. I just kept getting worse and worse. And let me process. Here we go. So I'll look at some pictures. So these are some pictures in the background of this trip to at least the safari section of it. And I just kept getting worse and worse. And eventually, before they even tested, I lost consciousness at home. I passed out and just hit the deck. Urgent care. They couldn't get a blood, they couldn't get the bottom number on like blood pressure reading. He couldn't squeeze enough blood out of my finger to get an oxygen test reading. And when they did do the O2, it was like in the 60s or something percent. It should be 99% at you know, ground level. I call him Kilimanjaro was great. That's a whole other story. But he you know, anyway, hospital, urgent care, then admissions. I was in intensive care for about 3 nights. Pumped me up with, I hadn't peed in days. Just it really dehydrates you, explodes your red blood cells. It's not a pleasant experience. It's probably the worst I've ever felt. And people die from it. Like, everyone seems to think it's like people get over it. It's killed more people than natural causes, and it's not even a joke. Natural causes. It's the #1 killer of humans and mosquitoes, and just in general, it's a devastating illness. And I know if I didn't get treatment, I probably would have died. I think I was just that rough. I mean, intensive care for 3 nights. Anyway, got better. They flew the pills down from CDC. Caused some excitement at the hospital. It did. This is right in the period where they had an Ebola outbreak in East Africa, and I was in West Africa. And I came back, and it presents the same way. It's, you know, really bad fever, dehydration, all that stuff. Holy crap! So some infectious disease guys got called. There's a little bit of a fuss, and they figure, okay, malaria, settle down. And then magic pills from the CDC got flown in. I had great treatment, got better. It took me about a year to get better properly, because it just ruins your red blood cells. I think the doctor tells me it's going to take you months to regain your capacity for exercise. I was in good shape. I had no problem with the climb, and I do a lot of hiking, a lot of backpacking. I still do. I'm not in that sort of shape. I need to get back to it, but. It was rough. Anyway, so malaria 177 on the back end of that. But that's a story I want to tell. And actually, what I can probably look at that's pretty cool here is the video, because I took some video on that trip, and that particular safari experience. I mean, Kilimanjaro is a whole thing I want to do a video on the channel. But Kilimanjaro was something else. But we also got this incredible experience on the safari in the end day, and it's a real.
There's the lion.
Leopard.
He's hunting.
He's doing something, huh? Now it gets out of focus. He nails one here. Now he's tussling right here, and it ends up in the bottom right, and then it comes back into focus. So it's just horrible. But he's in this bottom corner here. Bottom right, out of focus, bottom right. Where I'm waving. Then it comes, he's just nailed one. Now he comes back into focus, and then there's this next one that's pretty rad. This right here.
Oh, he's going for another one. He's going
Yep.
another one.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
He's nailed it.
He nailed it.
Got it
His
by the
big
neck,
old
that's all I
male
want.
leopard kills these two. See these other wildebeests are still kicking over here. Like, oh, man. And there was like, all right, pack it up. Let's go. We're not going. No point in watching anything after that. We've seen it all at this point. But I have some, yeah, there's some other. Yeah, this is Kilimanjaro. Anyway, I have some other, I got out the big lens. I had like a, this is it here, like a 500 millimeter fixed lens, like a little telescope. Got him dragging one of them across. And they're all on the radio. They're calling everyone. And just like the safari guides we were with, one had been there 11 years. I'd only seen this one other time in 11 years, and he was like, "This is pretty impressive to see." Then we hadn't seen any cats at all on the trip up until then. Can't complain. It's such a good experience. Yeah. But look at the nuggets on that guy. He's a guy. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, this was some good stuff. Yeah, I mean, not a bad way to relax, right? These are the tents that they set up. Just hanging around outside, mess tent. There's literally lion was killing stuff in the fields 100 yards away. We saw the carcass the next night. There's nothing around it. Like they have guys walking around with torches, and they've got little bow and arrows underneath the red thing is a rifle. Like, at least you want to hope. It's my buddy Kenny. We were just coming off the mountain, pretty hot, really. It was just like, yeah, ready for a sit down. They'd load the beer. They'd have beer and stuff in the trucks. That was good times. I'd recommend it to anyone. It's like a once in a lifetime experience. I got some beautiful shots, but the point is, at one night we were out late, and I think it was this night around here. We were chasing around these elephants, and left. It just had this beautiful experience. It's like sunset right here. You see the sun. And it's getting dark. The camera does a good job of it, but there's baby elephants, and they're all walking in. So we just paused. They didn't realize they have some pretty strict old rules about being out after sundown in this Serengeti, because they have a problem with poachers, and the rangers don't fuck around, man. They're that one night in the bush, they are armed and dangerous, and the rangers are mad. And so we, as you can see, we're hanging out until kind of dark. And beautiful night. And then on the way home, we're just trying to get back to the resort. By the way, this is the carcass that the lion left just outside the camp the next day. But as we were going back, these rangers damn near ran the car off the road, like, rah, and just yelling and like gesturing, like not pointing, but shaking guns at the driver, and they're yelling back and forth in Swahili or whatever. And yeah, it was like, oh, this is a little. I mean, I've seen that sort of stuff. But they were pissed. Like, they were pissed. I was just like, all right, well, I assume they're not going to shoot us. But, you know, that was the only one issue in that whole trip. I mean, it was a little more scary with some of the guys in Egypt, to be honest. Like, the guns. I've shown some pictures of, like, they just want to pose. They'll let you hang on to them, whatever. I'm like, you know what? I don't need to touch your AK-47, thanks. Just, you hold it. Fine. But, yeah. Yeah, he was hungry, and well, you should see this shit that goes on after that. The bird show. I got these videos of these birds fighting over a bunch of it. But I did get. Let me look at some pictures. I did get some really nice shots from here. Beautiful time. Big old fathead giraffe. Giraffes are probably my favorite. Crocs, like where I used to grow up in the northern Australia. Big old crocs everywhere. A lot of them. And these are the sort of things they get up north now because they've had a moratorium. Like, they've been protected for a couple of generations, I guess, like 50 years now. So the croc population, the rangers were pissed at us being on the road after dark. You can't be out after dark. Strict rules. They think you're a poacher. Like, that's why they go after dudes at dark, because they poach at night, and so they're like looking for people that are shooting. You know, whatever, the elephants. Everything had ivory. Like, all the elephants had tons of ivory. We had a big bull elephant, like, kind of charge the car at one point. We chased one down. You know, we didn't see any rhinos, but they were around. So the poachers are a real deal. I think they have better internet in Cusco than they have in Sydney. Maybe it's my stream. I'm on the end of a wireless, a microwave link. I get, like, I pay as much as they'll give me, like 16 megabits. So it ain't tons. But it seems to be okay most of the time. GNU you. Big old Cape Buffalo. This was anyway. So that's the malaria story. Just wanted to roll that one out. Why the hell I took that name? No lag, cool. But yes, and then there was the whole other. I might as well. I put some of this footage in Process Mount. I did put some of this footage in one of the videos. But there's some spectacular. Kilimanjaro was an epic trip. Like this is one that I do again. We did it the right way. We did the Western Breach, which is just the best way to see Kilimanjaro. This is on, I think, Alpine Glacier at the base of the Western Breach. Yeah, this is where you start. And then it's this big, as far as dangerous sections go on Kilimanjaro, it's a dangerous section. People died on it, actually, a couple of years after we were on it. But it's just because of the, like, scree, the rocks that come down, and they catch you. So you've got to climb it in the dark, generally, while it's still frozen. And that's the idea anyway. You get started to get up there and get past the dangerous section while it's still frozen. Although every morning, I mean, we stayed one night and we'd like 4 o'clock just in the morning when people would have been on it. There's this giant rumbling and just this huge landslide. You'd hear it all the time, but it's sort of nowhere near you. But yeah, we got up there. This is me testing the gear. They make you wear a helmet. And only like 2% of the guide companies offer the service to go up that way. It dodges most of the crowds, and you get the best views. That's Kibo. It's another 16,000 foot mountain. I like this shot. It's how often do you see kind of the sun setting below the horizon? It's just below the cloud line. Like this is at probably 16,500 feet. Gonorrhea 7177. Yeah. Yep. No stories there. Beautiful. That's Kenny. Did not like the heights, but Kenny's a madman. So we passed. This was a scary thing. So this is in the top of the scramble section. After this is the scree field where the rubble is. It's quite steep. And after this, you have to do some scrambling sections. And we passed this group in the dark. We actually got up here in about 4 hours. Went from like 16.5 to 19,000 feet at the top. Or at the plateau. And we passed this group in the dark. And as we were in the protected sort of area with a bit more scrambling sections, we hear there's a yell. And between our groups, there's probably a couple hundred meters at that point. As I was taking this photo, like a friggin' basketball-sized rock is just like dove down the hill. And I don't care if you're wearing a helmet. Like that takes you out. That takes you out. And it's that's the danger on this section. That's why you see they're all wearing little helmets and they all have night lights. But these guys were super slow, which is fine. It's just the pace you set on some of them. There's one of the porters probably. But yeah, we got up. And I like these are the pictures you go for, right? It's the summit of the mountain on the horizon kind of thing, the shadow of it. This is at the top of the western, I guess halfway up the Western Breach. Cold. It was cold. Yeah. And all the clouds on the Shira Plateau, which I think is down on the other. It's covered in fog right there. But it took us. We took our time. We did 8 days, and you can do it in 4 or 5. Less people summit at that just because of the altitude. So this is on the summit plateau. It's probably one of the glaciers. It's not the Furtwängler. This is the Furtwängler. This is what's left of the Furtwängler. The Furtwängler Glacier. Very, very little of it left. Melting away. I've been melting for 10,000 years. And it's like, man. It's not one of those things. It's like it's an equatorial mountain. It's cold up there, but it just gets sun all the time. It slowly melts. It's been melting for a long time. That's the summit from where we were on the plateau. With the whole point we went over here was to climb over this ridge, which just gets you over to... There's more of the glacier. 2. There's a group on the edge. 2. Where's it get you to? God damn it. This thing. The ash pit. The point of why I wanted to go up the Western Breach in the first place. This shot. Because of this thing. This is the heart of it. Like the sulfur eruption point. It's like a kilometer across. It's such a big, perfectly round. Like you look at it on Google Earth sometime. Giant, but it takes you like an hour from that side. It takes you forever to get over there. Particularly if you go from the other side, but where we came up, it went up. Hannah, such an amazing trip. What's been your favorite? This trip was good. I have a few other good trips that are favorites in terms of this trip's up there. But I did a work trip. I had a part of my job. I used to travel a lot, and I'd moved to the States, and I was coming back to. I had to go back to a sales kickoff in Asia, Southeast Asia, and it was in Borneo, Kota Kinabalu. And the weekend before, I took time off on either side of it. And the weekend before, I went over to Sipadan. I used to do a lot of diving, like 400 dives. I really enjoy it, but I miss it in this part of the world. And I went over to Sipadan, which is one of the top sort of 2 or 3 places in the world where you can dive. It's very hard to get to. It's on the east side of East Malaysia. East Malaysia, like Borneo, East Malaysia. Then way out there in the ocean, you stay on like an oil rig. You got to take a bunch of flights and some boat time to get there. And then they take you to this little coral island, and it's this little coral key, beautiful little. They don't have any hotels on it anymore. Small little island, but about 10 feet off the edge, it drops down about 5,000 feet straight down. There's a coral wall, and just all this nutrient-rich water hits it, comes up. You get all the pelagic species. You see like 100 turtles on the dive, barracuda, big tuna, big species. Whale sharks occasionally roll up there. It's one of the most beautiful places to dive, and I did that. Then on the back end of this sales kickoff, we did Mount Kinabalu, which is a 14,000-foot mountain in Borneo. I hope you all enjoyed that video. I'm trying to make these things a bit more of a regular upload to my second channel here, the Uncharted X Live channel, so please do consider subscribing to this channel. That really helps me out. Big thanks to Dub Selector for taking the time to edit these videos. Very much appreciate his help on this. Also, if you want to catch me live over on Twitch, I am streaming 2-3 times a week. I generally announce when I'm going to stream in my Discord, so if you want to join the Discord, take a look below in the comments. There'll be a link to the Discord. And if you like the work that I'm doing, please do consider supporting the channel through the value for value model. There's lots of ways that you can support the work that I'm doing. It's all outlined on my website. It's unchartedx.com/support. We'll catch you in the next one.